In fantasy football, it's never short of exciting to see brand new rookies get drafted to their respective NFL teams. Whether you want them on your dynasty, redraft, or best ball teams, you want them to score big fantasy points for you. Unfortunately, major injuries can happen to rookies too. They can throw a monkey wrench in your analysis if you're a fantasy football analyst like me. Otherwise, you just feel bad you don't get to use those rookies on your fantasy football teams. Today, I'm going to go over 3 rookies for the 2024 NFL season who suffered major injuries. Hi, Evan with Barely Fantasy here, and this is Rookie Injuries Suck. Number 1. J.J. McCarthy, quarterback, Minnesota Vikings. A first-round pick out of Michigan, McCarthy was drafted to be the immediate successor to Kirk Cousins. The Vikings knew it was time to move on from Cousins, and McCarthy had the skill set the team was seeking. Much of the football world wondered how successful he'd be in the NFL, considering Jim Harbaugh had a run-first offense with his Michigan Wolverines. There were even crazy rumors that the Los Angeles Chargers would trade Justin Herbert to the Vikings so that Harbaugh could draft McCarthy. That ended up being a load of hogwash. Anyway, the only real NFL action McCarthy saw was in preseason Week 1 against the Las Vegas Raiders. He completed 11 of 17 passes for 188 yards. 2 of those passes were touchdowns, and 1 was an interception. It was a good day for him that would be soured by a torn meniscus in his right knee. He'd be forced to miss the entire 2024 season, having had surgery on it 3 days after that preseason game. 3 months later, he'd need a non-surgical procedure done on his right knee to address additional swelling. It did not affect his original recovery timeline. On January 16, McCarthy resumed on-field work and continues to progress well. As of the release date of this video, there is no reason to expect him to miss any of the 2025 season. Number 2. Jonathon Brooks, running back, Carolina Panthers. A second-round pick out of Texas, I was excited to see him take over that Carolina Panthers backfield. A lot of the fantasy football community felt uneasy about this guy because he tore his right ACL when his Texas Longhorns took on the TCU Horned Frogs on November 11, 2023. This injury meant he wouldn't be ready for Week 1 of his rookie year. I wasn't expecting him to become the next Christian McCaffrey right away, but my recommendation to stash him in an IR slot did not make Chuba Hubbard fantasy shareholders happy. Even if you loved having Hubbard on your fantasy team, you have to put your emotional attachment aside and look at the reality of the situation. You don't spend a second-round draft pick on a running back just to make him a backup. Anyway, when Brooks debuted, he was starting to find his rhythm in his second game, which was Week 13 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He ran 6 for 18 on the ground and caught all 3 of his passes for 23 yards. Not spectacular numbers, but positive momentum. Then in Week 14 against the Eagles in the first quarter, he tore that same ACL on his right knee that he did in college. The same ACL got torn a little over 1 year apart. Absolutely devastating for the 21-year-old rookie second-round pick. Depending on how long his recovery goes, this hurts Jonathon's chances of being the main man in the Panthers' backfield. He's also in danger of missing the entire 2025 season as well. Stay tuned, time will tell. Number 3. Erick All Jr., tight end, Cincinnati Bengals. A 4th-round pick out of Iowa, the Cincinnati Bengals have always been a team that lacked a solid pass-catching tight end. The Brown family that owns the Bengals have always been cheap and never would go out of their way to pay for one. On October 14, 2023, Erick All tore the ACL in his right knee during the first quarter of his Iowa Hawkeyes versus the Wisconsin Badgers. He'd be forced to miss the rest of his final college season. All recovered from that injury in time for the start of Week 1 of the 2024 NFL season. Knowing the talent he had playing for tight end U, I had hoped he had become the main pass-catching tight end for the Bengals. In Week 9 against the Raiders, he tore that same ACL again, a little over a year since the first time it happened in college. All missed the rest of his rookie season. He is now in danger of missing the entire 2025 season, needing 2 surgeries before he can fully recover. Needless to say, this hurts Erick All's chances of being a phenomenal tight end in the NFL. Just like Jonathon Brooks' injury, stay tuned to All's rehabilitation as well. Time will tell. There you have it, 3 2024 NFL rookies who saw devastating injuries. Please subscribe for more fantasy football content. Keep calm and play on, my friends.